Alrighty, hello and welcome to part 5 of What If Female Deku Was Space Godzilla. Now, where we last left off, it was the beginning of the USGA attack with Aizawa jumping down to fight the villains in order to protect Class 1A. Now, I do remember, in the last part, one of you pointed out what about the DNA test that they said they'd be doing. It's currently underway. It will take a while due to her unique biology. As that's happening, Aurora uses her crystals to basically block the path, basically charge herself up in case one of the villains decides to get up there. With Kurogiri warping up as he does in canon, as he had announced that they are the League of as Aurora would slam him to the ground using her telekinesis, as she would say, "I am not dealing with this bullcrap today." If you want an idea of how hard she slammed him into the ground, there were cracks in the ground. That's how hard she slammed down. As she would then throw Kurogiri back towards Shigaraki, where Kurogiri would land into Shigaraki, Kurogiri would then help Shigaraki out, as he would say, "I'm sorry, young master. There appears to be a girl up there with a telekinesis quirk, and a very powerful one at that." As Shigaraki would say, "Doesn't matter. Warp them all around the USJ. Eventually we'll pick them off one by one." As Aurora is sent to the water zone by Kurogiri along with Sue. And I think, I did expel Mineta, so he's not there. So I'll say, I think I'll have Shinso in Class 1A. Yeah, Shinso is in Class 1A. Why? Because plot, and one of you guys wanted the ship to be Shinso, because I didn't ask for the ship, but you guys decided to have it as Shinso. So that's it. As Aurora and Sue and Shinso would come up with a plan, with Aurora saying that she's not sure she should have used this because she was saving it just in case, but now's a good time, as the super condensed crystal, the superheated crystal that she made in the last part, because a lot of you wanted to see a thermal nuclear mode of her, would begin to rise up from the ground, the water, and it would begin to boil it. As all the villains would begin to panic as they would begin to move out of the water, with Aurora basically picking up Shinso, Sue, and herself up, as they would levitate over the water, as she would plop them down, as she would then destroy the crystal, as she would go into thermal nuclear mode. With Shigaraki seeing them there, as he would go to try and decay Aurora, with her seeing this, and I'm just going to take a little bit out of Shin Godzilla's book, and as the points of her dorsal spines would begin to glow, as concentrated forms of her breath attack would hit Shigaraki as he would go flying back. As they would say, "Nomu, kill her." Oh, hold on, I'm going a bit too fast. So I should cover what everyone else is doing. So Bakugo and Kirishima are basically having the same things going on as they did in canon. Same with Koda and Koda and Tokiyami. Ojiro is having the same thing going on, along with Momo, Jiro, and Denki. As the Nomu comes dashing towards Aurora, as she would try to then begin to hold the Nomu off by launching her move. Also, thank you for the name suggestion for a quirk name, which is Special Kaiju, and the Nuclear Pulse move, Cosmic Devastation. So thank you to you two for putting that up. I'm sorry if I don't remember you guys' names, and I'm a bit tired to pull your comments up, but you guys know who you are. As she would use that, as she only disperses about half of her thermal nuclear energy, as it would basically disintegrate the Nomu's entire arm, as the Nomu would be screaming out in pain, as Aurora would basically place her foot down on top of the Nomu's chest, as she would begin to apply pressure, as all the thermal energy would go down into her foot, as it cause her foot to basically melt into the Nomu, which would cause the Nomu a lot more pain, as Aurora would then unleash her breath weapon along with the thermal energy at full power, as she would fire it right into the Nomu's head. This basically overloads the Nomu, basically kills the Nomu from that, as its head is basically completely gone. There's nothing left. As Shigaraki would begin to scratch his neck, as he would begin to say, they cheated, as he would then run towards Aurora, as he would then yell, you cheated, with Aurora then turning around, and since she still has a few crystals up, they're charging her right now, as before they could crack due to the amount of pressure they're being put under from the amount of energy they're having to produce, she lets out one final breath attack. Actually, no, she uses her telekinesis and basically breaks Shigaraki's arms and legs, as she'd then push him back into Kurogiri, with All Might arriving on the scene immediately, as Kurogiri would say to Shigaraki that we have lost, and that it is time for a retreat. With Shigaraki saying fine, but this is not over, as Kurogiri and Shigaraki would warp away, as Aurora's crystals would basically shatter. Not her shoulder ones, but the ones she put up would completely shatter, as she would then collapse onto the ground from exhaustion. Now she collapses down face first, as All Might would check to see if she's alive, as he would find that she is alive, she's just unconscious. As she would then be taken to the hospital, where she is basically looked after while she's unconscious for a couple days, because of the amount of energy she's put out. She had to her body basically put her into a hibernative state, until her body's energy reserves were fully replenished. So she'll be in that state for about 2 days. As during that time, All Might and Inko are waiting for the DNA results for Aurora to come back, as the day would come when the results would get back to them, with the results showing a 99.99% match for both All Might and Inko. Hold on, give me a minute. Sorry about that, as the DNA test would come up with a 99.99% match. As Inko and All Might would be shocked that their daughter that they put up for adoption is in UA, and that she is here. As they'd ask Aizawa why is it that she never used her real name, with Aizawa saying that he had a talk with her, as you would say that she said that she hated her quirk, and that she thinks that her quirk was the reason that you had basically abandoned her and put her in an orphanage. As Inko and All Might would realize the amount of damage they have done, and realize that it's possibly... Hold on. Sorry about that. As I was saying, that All Might and Inko realize that the damage that they've done is probably irreversible, and that there's no possible way that they could possibly sort this out. As Aizawa would say that there is one possible way. You guys can try and explain to her why you had abandoned her in the first place. And if that doesn't work, well then, I have no clue what will. As Inko and All Might would agree to try this strategy and sorry about this, and to try to get Izumi's forgiveness. And that is where I'm going to leave it off. I do hope you guys enjoyed this, and I will see you all next time.